Yo, Descendants, Augiesaint here, and welcome to the channel. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I want to talk to you guys about Blair, especially with Ultimate Blair coming in the April update. We're not sure exactly when in April, but we do know that in April with the big update, we will be getting Ultimate Blair. So what you can actually do now beforehand is you can start preparing your normal Blair to carry your build into Ultimate, as well as get your Arche Tuning tree set up, because that will carry over to the Ultimate version. Now with the new photon imprinter, you can actually get one of these right now in-game with the current Anais event. You have to log in daily and play like 2 hours. It's a daily event. We have a video up on the channel about it if you want to check it out. But basically just play 2 hours a day, you'll get a bunch of these tokens. As you can see, I got 240 of them saved up. I have bought quite a few other things, but the main important thing right here is the photon imprinter. Now don't worry if you miss out on this photon imprinter, there will be another event with Ultimate Blair that's also going to give you one of these access. They said every time they bring out a new Ultimate from now onwards, we will be getting an event to give us this photon imprinter. This one that they've given us now early is just as for like newer players. If you want to upgrade one of your current normal descendants to an ultimate, like Bunny with the ultimate Bunny event going on and stuff like that. So don't worry if you don't get this one, there will be another one with Ultimate Blair. And then the other thing that will carry over with Ultimate Blair is going to be the Arche Tuning tree. As you can see, yeah, the Arche Tuning tree, this is for my Blair. It says Descendant group Blair. If you go to the group list, you can see there it doesn't show ultimate yet. But all the ones with ultimate do share the same tree. Like look at our Viesa, for example. This is the Viesa tree. That means ultimate Viesa as well as normal Viesa will benefit from the trees. That's what I'm going to assume once we get the Blair update and Ultimate Blair is in the game, he's going to actually count for the Blair board as well. So you can go ahead and max out everything while you wait for Ultimate Blair to drop. So let's have a look at the mods I run on my Blair. This is a full skill build. I'm just focusing completely on crit and throwing the big Deadly Cuisine fireball, as well as laying down fire all over the place. It's called Gordon because he is our classic chef. We're using the Transcendence module with him. And I do have a gun build version, which I'm not completely done with yet. I just need to go ahead and catalyze a couple more things and maybe add another range mod and a defense mod. This is a work in progress. We'll obviously update this once Ultimate Blair drops. And when he drops, we'll probably build another build depending on whatever Transcendence modules comes with them. So let's mainly focus on the classic chef build for now, because this is going to be the ability skill spamming build. As you can see, our Deadly Cuisine is down to 15.6 seconds, and this just does a ton of damage, burning damage. Our burn taste over there is a 3.9 second cooldown, and it does last for 6 seconds. So by the time you finish with your flamethrower, it's going to be off cooldown again. So the whole point of this build is going to be massive AoE damage spamming your skills. You're going to start out with your Deadly Cuisine. I will demonstrate to you guys a little bit how this all works, but mainly you're going to be chucking out your Cuisine because it'll give you a bunch of fire puddles on the ground, which is then going to proc your passive Pitmaster, which will give you skill critical hit rate. And this is a critical build. As you can see there, we have fully stacking crit on this. He does scale pretty well with crit, and he has a really good base crit. And then we can also go ahead and use our extinguish ability, which is not going to kill the stacks on the ground. They will still be there doing tick damage, but it is going to give you a buff depending on how many stacks you absorb. And since you dropped your Deadly Cuisine, you will have 5 stacks on the ground, 5 fire puddles, which is the max stacks for the extinguish. This will give you MP recovery, but as well will give you a skill power modifier increase of 6% times the 5. And then that's going to just count into all your stuff again. So then once you've done that, you've set up all your buffs, you can go ahead and flamethrower everything. Then you just rotate between throwing your Deadly Cuisine, flamethrowing, and sucking up everything for MP, and then the crit with the passive, and also then skill power with the extinguish. I can show you guys kind of what that looks like in the back end to show you the madness. So let's go ahead and spawn these guys in. We're going to start with the big fireball. You can see that it hits them all, does quite a bit of damage by itself, puts all these puddles here. Now we go ahead and suck them up. The puddles still stay. We got our buff on the left side of the screen. And now we can just go ahead and flamethrower away. Flamethrower, 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 throw. At the end of that, we can go ahead and throw another fireball, because why not? And then more flamethrowers. And then after this flamethrower, we probably want to end it early. And then go ahead and suck up the things because our stacks turn out. And then we can go ahead and flamethrower again. And you can see it's doing quite a good amount of damage. So he did surprise me about how much damage he does, and it's also just really fun to go ahead and throw fireballs. And I mean, look at all that burn damage. So whenever there's enemies weak to fire, I'm sure Ultimate Blair is going to have a new Transcendence module that's going to do something even crazier. And then one thing I do want to point out to you guys I learned while playing Blair is the fireball itself. If you throw it up into the air, it does give you a much larger area that it covers. So check this, when you throw it up in the air, that's going to cover a very big area compared to over there. So if you're doing like a big map where you're mobbing or something like that, there's like a whole spread out mobs and stuff. Chuck your fireball in air, you will lose the explosion damage because it won't actually hit the enemies, but it will just drop your fire puddles everywhere, and it's going to be better for when you're clearing like low level AoE stuff anyway. So that's the basics to Blair. Now let's actually have a look at our mods. As you can see, our mods changed a little bit from the demonstration before. I changed out a crit mod because I forgot about the passive giving crit. So this is future editing Augie. If you did screenshot and dip the previous build, you have lost out. So you've made it this far to the video. Good on you. Now you'll actually have a little bit more crit damage. You're doing slightly more damage than the previous version if you did have a crit mod there. So looking at the mods, we are running obviously Classic Chef as our Transcendence module. And then let's actually talk about the crit mods. We are running both of the purple mods, giving crit damage and crit rate. And then we're also running skill concentration for the critical hit damage. Now you might be wondering why we're not actually running the skill insight for the massive crit chance. That is because with the Arche tree and his passive giving you crit per stack, you are actually going to max out your crit without it. So if we go have a look at our crit right now, you can see we are at 44.86 crit. We go ahead and throw a big fireball. Going to give us the 5 stacks of our passive. As you can see in the bottom right corner there, the 5 flames. We have a look now. We are actually maxed out on critical hit rate. And then with Arche Tuning, we can have a look here. If I drop just this one little node over there, and then we go back, now it's actually going to drop us down to 97. So you do need to get all the crit on the Arche tree. So you do need to get all the crit on the Arche tree to reach 100%, as well as the double purple mods and then the blue mod for crit damage. So you do not need skill insight, which will heavily overcap you on crit. However, if you don't have your Arche tree set up yet, you could go ahead and switch this out for skill insight just to get that 100% crit while you are still leveling your Arche tree. So that's it for the crit mods. We're running focus on dimension, focus on fire for cooldown and damage boost, because all of our skills are doing dimension damage. Only skill that's not dimension is our sock ability, and that's singular, so we don't really use this for damage anyway. So we can just go ahead and fully focus on dimension as our main source of damage. MP conversion for increased cooldown, and nimble fingers as well, just to top off all the cooldown. That's why we have such low cooldown. We have cooldown everywhere, as well as on our reactor and the Arche tree. And then we have skill extension just to increase with duration. This does help you as well with the extinguish. You can see it increases the duration up to 13.6 seconds. I would really like if I could fit some more duration somewhere else, but I feel like I just really like all these mods and I want them the way they are. And then range, we only have the one range mod here for the skill effect range. As you can see there, our max expandable range is only 250%. So that means our technical max expandable range would be 150% modded, because you got to account for the 100% base. So we're picking up the 92% over there. And then on the Arche tree, we actually pick up like another 30-something%. So we're close to the maximum. Plus, we don't really need all that range. As I showed you guys before, you can throw the fireball up in the air and that's going to spread it out much larger. Plus, with the cooldown, these stacks are pretty much infinite. You can just go ahead and spam these the more range you want. We will be losing a little bit of range on the flamethrower, but overall the range feels good, and also the amount of damage you do. That's why I like it set up as it is right here. So that's going to be everything for the modules. Now let's have a look at the components and the reactor. We are running dimension skill power boost as well as skill cooldown. I'd say the most important thing would be to get the skill cooldown, and then the other role could be dimension, could be fire, could be critical damage. Just don't get critical hit chance, because as you saw before, we do cap out with 100% crit, so you would be wasting any crit chance. Go for critical damage or dimension or fire, and just make sure you do have the cooldown. And then obviously you want to match this to your weapon as well to get that 60% increase. And then for the component set, we are running the usual Slayer set. This gives us the most amount of damage. Unfortunately, we can't switch this out. The skill cost doesn't really matter too much for us, because we can just do our second ability, which pulls in the flames and gives us back MP. So you can pretty much never run out of MP, because you just go ahead and suck up the flames and you'll get your MP back. So the Slayer set is just giving us a ton of damage. Do make sure you get some max MP and MP recovery on the sensor. As you can see, mine are still purple rolls. I have still not gotten gold rolls on these after playing this game since launch. Unfortunate, it is what it is, but it does work. Just make sure you do get those rolls, because it does really feel bad if you don't have MP and MP recovery. Because our MP pool is pretty small, only 294. And then lastly, let's have a look at the Arche Tuning tree. We're just picking up as much damage as we can. We're also picking up less skill power of yeah, so even more damage. And then we're coming up to grab the cooldown, as well as all these crit nodes of yeah. And as I demonstrated to you guys before, do need all these crits to actually max out your crit. So these 3 of yeah is going to be for skill critical hit rate, and these 3 is going to be for skill critical hit damage. So technically you don't need those, because that just increases your damage. But there's really not much else you could grab yeah. I mean, you could change those around and maybe try and grab these skill powers over here, but overall I just like to go with the crit, because I mean we're literally getting a 100% crit rate with this build. So the more crit damage we get, I think it might be a little bit more valuable than these skill power nodes over here. Although I haven't tested that out, so maybe these are actually a little bit more valuable. Go ahead and try it out and leave your comment down below if you have tried it and it is actually stronger. But for now, we're just getting the full fire crit Blair, and this is how I like to play it, with the massive cooldowns. So we can go ahead and spam everything. And then lastly, the inversion reinforcements. Doesn't really matter what you do, because there's not all too much with like skills affecting stuff. I just pick up this over there for max HP increase. I pick this one up for a little bit of MP every now and then. Not that we need it. And then again, I picked this one up to increase our max MP on kills. But there's really nothing else that really affects skill builds. Maybe just go ahead and pick up this Adrenaline Rush. I'll actually probably drop this MP and go with the Adrenaline Rush because a little bit of speed boost is better than nothing. The best thing about the Inversion tree is this point right over here. But this just auto procs itself and you don't need to pick up any node once you've unlocked everything. It can give you increased range and skill power. I think with those actually stacked up, we might cap out our range at that 150% increase. So I think the build just works perfectly well and fits together. Let me know what you think of the build, and if you guys are excited for Ultimate Blair and really hoping that he's going to actually be good and not just be destroyed by Serena being like the queen of everything right now, because Ultimate Blair is not going to have any boobs. So unfortunately, it seems like every character without boobs is not as strong as the character with boobs. So all we can do right now is just hope that Ultimate Blair is going to bring some fancy new Transcendence mods to him, but currently I do really like the build that we have set up right now. It's just really fun dropping fire puddles and throwing fireballs everywhere and like walking around as a flamethrower, because fire is actually my favorite element, so I really do enjoy flaming characters, especially flaming flying characters. Yes, I'm looking at you, Serena. Yes, you are beautiful and amazing, but we do need some light on the Blair. So there he is, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did and it helped you out, please drop a like and a sub to the channel. It helps me out so much, and I'll catch you beautiful people in the next one. Augiesaint out.
Run free and dive into the sky. Hear the wind crying.